I'll start with something we discussed with Stellan last time, because the film draws its emotional power from pain, resentment, and the characters often turn to art to communicate what they can say out loud. How
Yes.
do you, as an actress, navigate those kinds of personal emotions? Do you see them as something you can use in your work or something you need to protect yourself from?
That's a great question. Yeah, I think something that I love about acting is something that you said is that I'm able to use emotions that might not be acceptable in the real world or in my life, and I can channel that into a character and let those out, and it can be a very cathartic experience. And that's definitely one of the reasons that I love it. I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're drawing from personal experiences or pain. I mean, I certainly think, sometimes with acting, you're playing a character and you've never experienced those exact emotions before. But through art, we are able to channel things inside us that maybe we didn't even know were there and let it out. And I certainly felt like on this movie, I got to do that. And Yoakum really creates a space and allows you to be very open to those things and awaken those feelings inside of you that you maybe hide. Yeah.
You mentioned Jokin. As you maybe answered a lot since Cannes Film Festival about the relationship between Rachel Camp and yourself as an American actress portraying an American actress in a Norwegian film. But
Yes.
you grew up working within the Hollywood system. What lessons did you take away from engaging with a Scandinavian filmmaking sensibility?
Yes. Well, I've worked with other Scandinavian directors, Nick Refn, and Joachim Roning, he directed Maleficent. I've worked in other countries and worked with directors from all over the world. And so that experience wasn't necessarily different for me. Like, even though I was playing an outsider in the film, certainly, I never felt like an outsider on his film sets. So that was something that I definitely had to create for Rachel. But, like Stellan says, we're all from one planet, all of us actors, we're kind of from actor planet, and we're able to communicate and speak the same language and create quick bonds. And so that wasn't unusual. But I think what was special about Joachim's sets is just the amount of depth that he's able to create, and this environment where you you feel safe to be vulnerable. You never feel rushed at all in a scene. You feel like you have all the time in the world to explore, and he's not afraid of the silences. I think that what's so beautiful about this movie is it's what is between the lines and what's unsaid, and he just allows his actors to sit and sometimes just stare into each other's eyes, for minutes on end. And what arises from that is really special. And these little kind of micro expressions and this amount of like emotional weight that he's able to capture, but done in a very light way. I feel like the film, even though it is exploring kind of dark, heavy themes, it is done with joy and lightness and hope. Um, and that is very unique to him, to be able to construct a film in that way. And certainly it was one of my favorite sets I've ever been on. For an actor, it's like a dream.
You mentioned the silence. I was talking this week with Belgian directors
Mm,
Jean-Pierre Luc Dardenne
yeah.
about silences. How we miss those silences. They are so important for us spectators to penetrate into actors' emotions.
Yeah.
There is also a scene in the film where she tries to speculate what was in her mind, and she kind of says, "That's the question." You don't
Mm,
know. You don't know what's in her mind when she's contemplating suicide.
mm,
The character inside the movie. I mean,
yeah. Yeah.
let me bring you back to that moment at the beach when Rachel abandons her phone and her entourage. And it's like, for me at least, feels like a rejection of the modern industry itself, like
Mhm,
a symbolic return to a more stripped down idea of
mhm,
what it is to be an actor.
mhm.
If you could step back in time and choose one filmmaker to collaborate with, who would it be and why?
Oh, that's interesting. I mean, gosh, there's a lot of layers to this question. But I think, yeah, we find Rachel at a point where she's a little lost. She's kind of verging on depressed in her career, and the choices that she feels like maybe she has to make over the ones that she wants to make. And that moment on the beach, I think it's so free. It's like this big breath and this big sigh in a way of relief, and a big weight is taken off her because she finally gets to make a choice of her own. And I think she feels like she's very desperate and longing for a part or for a director to see her in a different way than maybe you know the Hollywood has placed her in. And so Gustav kind of sees her for this talent and spark that she hasn't felt in a long time. So yeah, that moment on the beach it's very freeing for her, and a feeling that she probably hasn't felt since she was a young girl, which was something that Joachim and I talked about. I mean, I've been so blessed to work with many incredible directors. Growing up, I've started working when I was 2 years old, so it's been a while now. And yeah, I kind of learned on the job, in a way, to get to observe and watch these directors and other actors. And it makes you, I don't know, I feel like I'm very adaptable and malleable to other people's processes. Um, but I do have a bucket list. I mean, Joachim Trier was on my bucket list to work with after I saw The Worst Person in the World. I didn't know if there would ever be a part or a role for me, but that was certainly very exciting, and someone that I wanted to collaborate with. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I do have the list is still long, but yeah, the
I
list.
hope you are able to. I hope you are able to work with them all.
Thank you. I
Thank you
hope
very much. Thank you very much. I hope to find you again
Thank
later. Bye
you.
bye.
Goodbye.